In the world's first recorded war, a king takes an arrow to the eye and just keeps going. This is the story of Ahanatum, the ruler of Lagash, one of the dusty brick cities of ancient Sumer 4,500 years ago. He's not just some distant name on a museum label, he's a real person. He fought real battles, and one of those left him with a piece of wood sticking out of his eye. This is how it went. Lagash and its neighbor Umma had been fighting for generations over a strip of farmland called the Gu'edin. Think Hatfields and McCoys, but with spears and chariots and vengeful gods. In one of these wars, Umma hires mercenaries and pulls in fighters from Elam and crosses the border. Lagash, under King Ahanatum, is ready. His men form up into Bronze Age battle lines with spears, axes, shields, and heavy armor, all under the blazing Mesopotamian sun. Now, these aren't professional soldiers. They're citizens, they're farmers, merchants, and craftsmen called up to fight for their city. And they move like a machine. Arrows launch volleys, and then, right underneath, comes the wall of spears. The noise, of course, is deafening. You've got the clanging bronze and the men shouting and screaming, and into this chaos charges Ahanatum, standing tall in a chariot, throwing javelins and swinging a sword. He's more war god than king, at least in his own mind, until he gets an arrow to the face, right in the eye. But Ahanatum, even though he's got an arrow in his eye, he doesn't fall, he doesn't retreat. He snaps the arrow shaft right off, leaving the tip buried in the skull, and keeps fighting from the back of his chariot. And eventually, they win. The enemy breaks and Lagash takes the field, but Ahanatum isn't done. Still with an arrow in his eye, he chases the survivors back to Umma, rides into their city, and in a final act of vengeance, kills the enemy king in the middle of his own palace. This line becomes so famous it shows up in his later treatise as a flex. He says, "Disobey me, and you'll end up just like your former king." We don't know what happened to Ahanatum after that. It might be that the arrow killed him slowly. Of course, it might be that he ruled for years with a mangled face and a hero's legend. All we know is that this guy lived like a myth and fought like he had nothing to lose. For more about ancient Mesopotamian history and legends, check out the Oldest Stories podcast.